Picture this, you walking around with your buddy in the Hive hub, chatting, talking, having a good time. Everything is great. Life is perfect. The Hive is perfect. Wrong! The Hive isn't perfect at all! And today, I'm gonna explain why. Have you ever noticed that the Hive has just a couple of things that aren't quite right? For example, there's a few doors that don't quite match up in the hub, and the banners are mismatched. Well, today, I'm gonna be counting down my top 8 list of things that aren't quite right about the Hive. Number 8. Now, if you know anything about bees or their hives, you should know they're made out of hexagons. You'd think the Hive would represent that, seeing as that's their name, but is that a square I see? Number 7. On one side of the Questmaster, there's a single door with banners on either side. But on the other side of the same house is a double door with only one banner. Now this makes sense from the front because there are 4 blocks on the front and you gotta be even. But from inside the house, it's kinda off. Well, there's nothing to write home about here. It's still an interesting design choice. Number 6. If you press back to spawn and walk immediately forward, something becomes apparent. The main features of the hub are symmetrical. This even extends out to the waterfall in the center. However, when you get to the houses, oh, you're kidding me, this is 1 block off. And what's even more annoying is after you get through the entire house, it just goes back to being symmetrical again. Is the house's door supposed to be 1 block to the side? I don't know. I'm sure there's a good reason for why it's like this, but you can't tell me it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. Number 5. On the Treasure Wars Duos map Gates, the treasure doesn't quite match up with the design on the ground. In most maps, there are some stairs or other design to mark out the treasure in all 4 directions. However, in Gates, it embraces its diagonal style and only does it in 2. Well, technically not a mistake, it's, oh my goodness, I am not a fan. Now back to the hub. The troublesome hub. Number 4. In the main building of the hub, there is a single door, 2 on each side, and while the pattern on the floor is checkered, the front of each door is rounded off with 3 pieces of oak, making it almost symmetrical. This goes for all 4 doors, and it makes sense. But things take a turn for the worse when you see the doors at the back of the place. Come on! Why didn't they just move the checkered pattern 1 across so it was possible for the 2 doors not to overlap? And failing that, why didn't they round it off with oak like the other 4 doors? Number 3. Now over to the NPCs of the Hive, and they all have fun poses and big name above them in some epic font. However, the coming soon one, it just kind of stands still and doesn't even have the font. Is it just me that thinks having 1 NPC and 1 only without the font kinda throws you off? What's more, when I go into F1 mode and hide my HUD, you can still see the font of all of the NPCs, except for the coming soon one. Number 2. One more small thing with the NPC update. I mean, overall it looks great, especially for games like Treasure Wars and Sky Wars where you have a lot of game modes. However, when you get to stuff like Hide and Seek, Death Run, and Murder Mystery, there is a lot of empty space. At this point I'm starting to complain instead of point out problems, but it's still interesting to think about. And number 1. The final issue. The Hive isn't entirely filled with watermelons and it is a crime.